Hey, everybody wave for camera.
Hold on.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
So, I'm in a restaurant in downtown Orlando. I'm sitting there, I'm looking at a menu, trying to figure out what it is that I want to drink. All the cocktails I'm looking at have these ingredients that I have no clue what the hell they are. At this point, I've been bartending for about a year. And so everything was pretty new to me. And so my first thought was, I'm not drinking anything that I don't know what the hell's in it. Well, as it turns out, there were bitters. Since then, I've been bartending roughly for about 14 years. I now make my own bitters. I make my bitters for myself, and I make bitters for the restaurant. So at this point, now my job is to give you a little bit of background about where bitters came from, how you can make more money with them, and how they're trending in the industry. The earliest record of bitters can be traced all the way back to the ancient Egyptians, where they would infuse medicinal herbs into their wine to heal themselves, as well as the Incas down in Peru. As for the ones that are still around today, if you've ever heard of Angostura, that is the oldest one on record that is still in use today. It was patented by Dr. Johann Seibert. He originally patented this as a medicine for sailors, as a cure for seasickness and malaria. Now, what they would do was they would take this and they would mix it with your gin in order to make it palatable. It was that strong. He believed that the bark of the Angostura tree had medicinal powers. At this point, the recipe for the actual Angostura bitters is a seriously closely guarded secret. There's maybe 5 people that know actually what's in it, so nobody even knows if the bark is even in there anymore. Another one is Peychaud's. Another one from the early 18th century, or 19th century, sorry. 1824 for Angostura, about 1830, 1832 for Peychaud's. Antoine Peychaud, it was developed down in New Orleans. The Sazerac made this one famous, or this made the Sazerac famous, however you wanted to do it. This is about the time that the term cocktail came around. The earliest definition for cocktail means a specialty liquor, which is a spirit mixed with sugar, water, and bitters. But what does all this mean? What does all this mean for you guys? Now, around this time, every other country in the world was developing their own medicinal tinctures to sell in their own countries. Not all of them were dripped into a cocktail. A lot of them were the base of the cocktail, or they could have been the cocktail themselves. Brands like Amaro, Campari, Aperol, Fernet Branca, and don't forget everybody's favorite, Jägermeister. Nobody thinks of these as bitters. All of these are in the bitters category. While some of these can be blended as a cocktail, like I said, some of them, it's either the base or they can be sold as an after dinner drink, as a digestive, on the rocks, neat, chilled. By suggesting these, you can increase your sales, your tip average, and make more money for yourself. So getting to know these brands is not a bad idea, because they're not going anywhere. A company called Market Research recently released a report on the global bitter sales worldwide. In 2017, there was 2,037,000,000 liters sold worldwide. Now that's a big number. That is about the equivalent to fill up 800 Olympic swimming pools. Now I don't know about you, but that's a hell of a pool party. Now by 2025, it's expected to be 2,664,000,000. Add on another 200 pools. Yeah, that's about a 25% growth rate in the next 7 years. So, see, at this point, it's not just bartenders, mixologists that are getting in the game. We've been in it. We know what we're doing. I recently read a story online about 3 ethnobotanists out in California. Ethnobotanists is basically they do genetic plant research. They started making their own bitters, and they wrote a book about it called Botany at the Bar, The Art of Making Bitters. They explain how you can make bitters out of anything you can find in your own kitchen, all the way up to stuff that you have to specially order to specialty herbs, specialty spices that you have to order. Now, they're not the only ones. Another trend is chefs in the kitchen are using bitters as well. How many times you see a chef, they're looking for just that little something to make that dish just right? They're turning towards bitters now. It's a condensed herbal supplement, just the right spice, that can take that dish and elevate it to another level. So, back to the story that I started with, sitting in that restaurant, looking at those cocktails. Just so happened that the server that I had was actually the bartender, and he happened to know quite a bit about bitters. And he explained it to me. And did I order the cocktail? Absolutely. And at that point, that's what set me on the path when I started making my own bitters.